Cheers. Very nice. Hello and welcome to my channel, The Danish Readaholic. My name is Silka and today I will be talking a little bit about some of the books that I want to read before the end of the year. However, I'm doing it as like a little bit of a twist, I think, because I've actually already read all of the books that I wanted to read this year. Like all of the books that I was like, oh, I kind of want to finish this shelf, I kind of want to finish that shelf. I've already done that. So yay me. But I'm kind of looking to this as a little bit more of a end of the year challenge for the last 2 months of the year. I also have some honorable mentions, but yeah. So what I've done instead is that I've picked 5 books that I'm intrigued by or have another reason to pick. And then I let my boyfriend pick 5 books as well that he thinks I should read. I've done this because I had no clue what he would pick. I just told him, pick 5 books off my shelves that you think I should read before the end of the year. He didn't need to give me a reason. He didn't need to know anything about any of the books that I kind of want to get to. He just had complete free picks of my books and I'm kind of intrigued to see what he picked. Well, I know what he picked, but... So, before we go into this, I have 2 honorable mentions that didn't make it onto the list. And later on, I have an honorable mention that makes sense in the context of another book. All right, so on this shelf, we have the one where we have the Lego Taj Mahal. I'm almost done with that shelf. So I could have picked the 2 remaining books that are on there, but I'm choosing them as like honorable mentions. So we have Air by Sabaa Tahir, and we have The Adventures of Amina Al-Sarafi as well. So those are honorable mentions, like books that I'm really excited for, but for some reason I was more drawn to the books that I have picked. So I think I'm gonna switch, like pick one or take one that I have chosen and take one that my boyfriend have chosen. I will start off with my pile, and the first book I have here is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. Why? There's just something about this book that's kind of calling to me. I believe that it's like, well, enemies to lovers, obviously. I'll just read it. In Phantom, a kingdom of cobbled streets, flickering lamplights, beautiful buildings, and secret catacombs, shade magic is a scarce and deadly commodity controlled by 2 enemy guilds, the Cloaks and the Daggers, the Thieves and the Assassins. On the night of her mother's murder, 18-year-old Seraphine runs for her life seeking sanctuary with the Cloaks. Sarah's heart is set on revenge, but are her secret abilities a match for the dark-haired boy whose quicksilver eyes follow her around the city? Nothing can prepare Sarah for the moment she finally comes face to face with Ransom, heir to the Order of the Daggers, and Ransom is shocked to discover that this unassuming farm girl wields a strange and blazing magic he has never seen before. Come on. If that doesn't sound like something that is just straight up my alley, I don't know what is. So obviously I want to get to this, but it is also starting a new series and I am kind of trying to finish a lot of them. As you might know, I think I went through them in the beginning of the year. I have amassed a list file of challenges that I set myself every single year. This year I went like a little bit nicer on myself and did what did I do? 5 challenges, I think. That's me being nice. But yeah, I think I did 5 challenges. So series priority 25 and 2025, I did A to Z and Fairy Loot Knockout. This would go for Fairy Loot Knockout, definitely. This is one of the Fairy Loots that I'm actually super excited for. But aside from that, it doesn't really do anything in any of the challenges that I have. So it would be starting a new series, a series that is incomplete. I still need to complete 2 more series, which I think I will be able to do. Yeah, looking at my shelves, I think I will be able to do that. Now that I see that I only have like 2 more series to complete, and given some of the other books that I've chosen, I think that it is very fair that I am starting some new series. So this one is definitely a high priority read for me because I just have this feeling that I'm gonna absolutely love it. The vibes of it, it's kind of reminding me a little bit of these Violent Delights. It's giving me a similar vibe, but I can't really put my finger on why, because it's not the same plot whatsoever. I think it's the rivalry. I can't say that word. Rivalry. I can't say it fast anyways. in a sentence, it will always be like blah blah blah. So the rivalry between the daggers and the cloaks, wasn't that what they were called? Yeah, the cloaks and the daggers. I feel like that is kind of reminding me of the white flowers and the scarlets. I think that is where I draw the connection, but honestly, I'm super excited for this one. I might try and make it onto my November TBR. And then we have the first pick of my boyfriend's, and this one is the only one where I could kind of guess the reason behind it, because he is so sweet that he had picked A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir. This is the last book in An Ember in the Ashes, and I am not currently, but I have A Reaper at the Gates on my TBR. So this is one of the series that I'm aiming to finish before the end of the year, also to complete the series master list thing. I don't know if I have any books with S actually. Would it also count in that aspect? No, it would not. I already have S. But that doesn't matter because I would be able to complete a series and I'm so excited about it. Upon my reread of An Ember in the Ashes, I was like, I remember why I loved it. But I'm also kind of hesitant because now I'm going into Reaper at the Gates, and that was the one, I believe I read a little bit of it because I feel like I can remember stuff that hasn't happened yet in the book, or in the books that I've read so far. So I have a feeling that I have read just a tiny bit of A Reaper at the Gates and then just DNF'd it. So I'm hoping that that won't happen this time around. I don't know what is gonna happen. That is like, well, obviously it's a good thing that I don't know what's gonna happen, but I have no clue how this is gonna end. Sometimes you have like an inkling of, oh, this could happen, and then they would happily ever after, you know? I don't have that inkling whatsoever with this book, so there's that. All right, the next book I have here is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Caraval. As you can see, I have started it, but I got stuck on it. I was listening to it as an audio. I actually tried twice. I wasn't in the mood to go into this universe again, which is, you know, annoying because I reread Caraval to go into these ones, but I'm gonna do it, and I think I will enjoy it when I get to it, also because I really want to get to, what's it called? Once Upon a Broken Heart. And even though they're not like direct continuations, they're set in the same world, and I've heard that you should prioritize reading this one first to get more out of the books. So that is what I'm doing. And I am like, I know I'm gonna love it when I go into it, but I just feel like it had such a slow beginning. Or maybe I started it, I had a brief period this year where I wasn't really feeling audiobooks or reading in general, and I think that was when I picked this up. Like I was already feeling like that when I picked it up, so that might be, you know, where it had a little bit of a downfall. So I'm gonna give it another go here at the end of the year. And also, this is where I had another honorable mention because I do want to complete the series before the end of the year. So that would mean like reading finale as well. The next book is a book that my boyfriend picked for me, and when he took this off the shelf, I was like, yes, because I've been wanting to read this for a while. I remember back in 2022 when I went on a cruise with my best friend Caitlin, I had brought this book. I think both of us had brought it. I'm not sure any of us have read it yet because like I started reading it and then I got distracted by everything that happened on that trip, and I was tired when I finally had time to sit down and relax. I was too tired to read. So yeah, but the book that I'm talking about is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. I think he picked this based on maybe the title and also the cover, because it is a little bit of a longer, a little bit more like what is going on title. And then the cover is just absolutely stunning. So I think that was what drew him in, but I actually have no clue. But I'm just really happy that he picked it because I've been wanting to read it for a while. I do believe that it is a standalone, and I'm actually not sure what it is about. So let me just tell you. For generations, deadly storms have ravaged Mina's homeland. Her people believe the sea god, once their protector, now curses them with death and despair. To appease him, each year a maiden is thrown into the sea in the hopes that one day the true bride will be chosen and end the suffering. Many believe Shim Shong, Mina's brother's beloved, to be the legendary true bride. But on the night Chong is to be sacrificed, Mina's brother follows her, knowing that to interfere is a death sentence. To save her brother, Mina throws herself into the water in Chong's stead. Swept away to the spirit realm, a magical city of lesser gods and mythical beasts, Mina finds the sea god trapped in an enchanted sleep. With the help of a mysterious young man and a motley crew of demons, gods, and spirits, Mina sets out to wake him and bring an end to the storms once and for all. But she doesn't have much time. A human cannot live long in the land of the spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. It seems so good. I'm excited, and also I believe that it's a standalone, so I'm intrigued as to how you can get that much in this short of a book, but we'll see. Next up, we have a book that I picked. Once again, probably for vibes and for the fact that I've had this for a while and just haven't read it. It's this one. It's The Hurricane Wars by Hiiya. I can't pronounce that last name. At some point, I knew what this book was about, but now I don't, which it happens quite a lot. So, enjoy. Tasselin was left on the steps of a Sardovian orphanage as a baby. All she had ever known is the Hurricane Wars, as her people fight for freedom from the tyranny of the Night Emperor Gaheris, maybe? But are they truly her people? Taliesin dreams of one day finding where she was from, her family, and the source of the magic that flows through her veins like sunlight. Alaric of House... there's so many difficult words in this. Osanest, master of the Shadow Force Legion and Gaheris' only son and heir, has been owned into a weapon by his father. Tasked with obliterating the neighboring Sardovian Alford, Alaric focuses on only one goal: extinguish all threat to the Night Empire with his armies and his storm ships and his shadow magic. We love a little bit of shadow magic, don't we? That is, until he sees Taliesin burning brightly on the battlefield with the same light magic that slew his grandfather, turned his father into a monster, and ignited the decade-long Hurricane Wars. He tries and fails to kill her, something about her making him pause, allowing his now greatest enemy to slip through his fingers. But a new horror emerges from across the Eversea, one that promises to cause even more devastation than the Hurricane Wars. Only Taliesin and Alaric can stop it. Will these mortal foes be able to come together, or will they end up destroying each other and dooming their world in the progress? There is something about those enemies to lovers that we just know that I love. And this kind of contrast, with light magic and shadow magic, I just love it. I'm actually really excited to read this. I do believe that there is already a sequel, so that is another good reason for me to get started with this one, so I can see if it's a series I will continue. I think what drew me in about this is the absolutely stunning cover. And then I read what it was about, and then it was like, hell yeah, and then I forgot, and then I reread now, and I'm still like, hell yeah. Next up, we have a boyfriend to pick, and he chose What the River Knows by Isabella Bonis. This is a fairy loot book. I remember it being about a girl whose parents were archaeologists or something, and they died, and then they sent her like a message. Yeah, she receives a letter that her parents have passed away due to like mysterious circumstances, and then she travels to Cairo to uncover the truth about her parents passing. That is what I know of the book. Based on that, I'm like really excited about it because I've always loved like Egyptian folklore or, mythology and all that stuff. And I have a feeling that that's going to play a part in this one way or another. And I'm really excited about that. I'm actually not mad at this pick. Was it a pick I would have picked myself? No, probably not. But this will help me finish off my Fairy Loot knockout. I do believe I only need 2 more books for that. I will have 1 after this month if I read it, of course. And already in this pile, there's like 3. Spoiler alert, there's 2 more coming. I'm really excited about this book. I don't think I've heard anyone really talk about it. The whole Egyptian vibes, I'm here for it. Next up, we have the only middle grade that is on this list, and it's on here for a very specific reason, because this is The City Beyond the Stars, and that is the sequel to The Kingdom Over the Sea that is on my TBR for this month. So this is here in order to complete a series. Surprise, surprise. I can't really tell you what this is about. I will tell you eventually if I read both of them, of course, what the series is about. But once again, it's giving me Egyptian, not necessarily Egyptian, but more like deserty vibes, and I'm excited for it. I do believe that it is something about a kid losing her mother, and then her mother has passed on this message that she has to go to this magical realm that is like, it's not on any maps, and this is where like sorcerers and alchemists and all those people live, and she has to go there. And I don't remember why she has to go there, but I still find it like super intriguing. We have 3 books left. The next book is another boyfriend pick. I think he picked this because he knows how I feel about vampires. He also knows that I asked for this. It was on my wish list. So, and I got it from my best friend Caitlin. But this is A Cruel Thirst by Angela Montoya. I like the cover. It's nice. And I like that it makes it look a little Victorian. And then with vampires and she's kind of putting a knife to his throat. It gives me the flashbacks in Vampire Diaries. And I'm hoping that that is what I'm getting. But let me tell you what it's about. Carolina wants to join her family in hunting the bloodthirsty vampiros that plague her village and prove she'll be a better slayer than wife. So she vows to take down the monster herself. But then she runs into an irresistible vampiro who challenges everything she ever knew. Lalo was content leading a perfectly dull life until a vampire turned him. Now forced to flee his city and hungry for revenge, he heads to where he believes the first vampiro was made. Instead of finding salvations, Lalo collides with a beautiful young woman who'd gladly drive a dagger through his heart. Can her fist and his fangs stay focused long enough to triumph over their common enemy, or will their hatred for one another get in the way? If you've heard, if you know me, you know that I am not the biggest fan of vampires in books. That being said, I think it's more so the setting of being like, let's imagine Vampire Diaries or Twilight. So like vampires in current times. New things. I don't want that. But I don't think this is that. It doesn't look like it's that. It doesn't look like they have phones. I think that is just what's the issue. I don't want to read about something like that is set now. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with the vampires. Maybe it's just that some of the vampire book things that I've read or seen have just been like in the same style of, Vampire Diaries and Twilight. I do love Vampire Diaries and I'm rewatching it again. But I don't want my books to be like Vampire Diaries. I'm actually super excited about this, and now having read once again what it's about, I'm even more excited. So my final pick is the last Fairy Loot book that I got in the YA subscription, but it was also the one that kind of made me want to keep my subscription. I ended up not keeping it though. But that is Immortal Consequences by I.V. Murray. I know that this is set at something called Blackwood Academy. And let me just read you the first bit, because that was actually what drew me in. So, welcome to Blackwood Academy, a school located at the edge of the afterlife. Once a pupil passes through the academy's arched gates, there is no way out, except if they triumph at the decennial. Winning allows a single student to be granted a choice: graduate and join Blackwood's magical elite, or cross over to the mysterious unknown other side. There is more to the blurb, but that was basically all I needed in order for me to be like, oh, okay, tell me more. So here we are, hopefully reading Immortal Consequences by the end of the year. I actually don't know if this is a standalone or the beginning of a series. I'm hoping that it's a series. I know we have 6 points of views in this, which worries me a little that it could be confusing, but I'm also excited about it. Alrighty, and then the final book is a boyfriend pick, and I don't know why he picked this. This is the first book he picked out. He went to the shelves, took this off the shelf, and I was like, oh, okay, you didn't need any time to think whatsoever. But he chose this. Air of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. The cover is absolutely stunning, and the spine is as well. I don't know if the spine was what made him pick it, because this is obviously the only thing that he can see when it's on my shelf. Maybe he has remembered that I've talked about it, or I read him the blurb when I got it. I don't know. I don't know why he picked it, but I'm also not mad about it. So it's basically, I'll do it a little bit briefly. So it says here that Blaze, a rain singer, is born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire, which I find really interesting. Like, why is a rain singer in a fire-wielding family? It seems like opposites, you know? So there's definitely some mystery kind of in that sense, but I'm also kind of intrigued to see what will actually like happen. I know that they have to compete in like this magical competition, and we love a good magical competition, like who doesn't? But I actually don't know much more than that, and let's keep it that way. Yes, I will prioritize reading this, but I think out of all of the 10 books that I have read, this is probably not the highest priority. It might run a little bit close to the bottom of those 10, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that I'm not excited for it one bit. That was it. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment telling me if you have any specific books that you want to read before the end of the year. Have you reached your reading goals? I don't know if anybody has like reading goals, like priority lists like I do. I'm pretty sure they do because I got the idea from someone else. But if you have a priority list, have you read them yet? Have your reading plans gone the way that they're supposed to? But yeah, most importantly, which books do you need to get to before the end of the year? I really want to know. If you just want to let me know that you're here but don't know how to comment, leave any type of water emoji. Be creative about it. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and until I see you next time, bye!